Well, hello everyone. My name is Chastity St. Cage, appearing now as my boy self, since most people see me as Luke Carroll. I'm an honors student here at Texas Tech University. I'm a public relations major with a minor in pre-law. And on Sunday nights at Club Luxury here in Lubbock, Texas, you can see me performing as my drag persona, Chastity St. Cage, who is campy as hell and just does not take shit from anybody. I started knowing about drag, I guess you could say. We have to go way back, way back. Whenever I was a little closeted gay boy in a tiny little town in Central Texas, about 1,500 people. And I first got exposed to drag through RuPaul's Drag Race. I was about 12 at the time whenever season 4 aired, and it became pretty much a yearly tradition for me to watch Drag Race on my laptop while my parents were asleep in the house. And they thought it was a shock whenever I came out. Think about that. But that's how I kind of got started. That year, there was a girl named Sharon Needles, was the name of the queen, who was crowned America's Next Drag Superstar. And she is kooky, she's a weirdo, and I've always felt like an outcast, always felt kind of different from a lot of the rest of my peers, especially growing up in such a small town. So that really appealed to me and really made me realize that there is a place for someone like me who is a little bit offbeat, who is a little bit out there in terms of personality and taste. So that inspired me and let me know, like, there are other weirdos out there. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only person who loves art and theater and culture and wants to get more involved in it. I was interested in drag for many, many years, until I got to college, of course, from the time I was 12, all the way I got here, and I got involved in the Lubbock drag scene, getting to know some of the queens. My very first drag show I ever went to live was seeing the season 10 winner of Drag Race, Aquaria, the Club Luxury here in Lubbock, Texas. And I was not only amazed by her performance and what she put out on stage, but also by all the local queens who came out and performed with her that night. And I really looked at it, and being a theater kid in high school, having experience in makeup through that, hairstyling, cosmetology, things of that nature, I was thinking, I can do this, and on top of that, I can do it better. Not to toot my own horn, but I can. So that's what really inspired me to get started in drag. My debut was at the Texas Tech University 10th annual drag show alongside Ariel Versace from season 11 of RuPaul's Drag Race on March 20th, 2019. And I have been performing about every couple of weeks since. I don't really take a break from drag. Luke very much goes a mixed paycheck, and Chastity spends it like crazy right after. I will say, as a college student, it is a not only financial but emotional and physical toll doing drag. Being someone who works part-time off campus in retail and being a more than full-time student here, taking 15 hours every semester in order to keep my scholarships, and being a drag queen on top of all of it, it's very exhausting, and it does take a toll mentally and physically upon a person. On top of that, the cost of these, the tights overall, which are 2 pairs of Capicio dance tights, and then about 5 layers of pantyhose after that, kind of smooth them all out. I want to say total were around $30 is what they were for all of these tights right here, which of course, Amazon, 2-day shipping, super cheap, awesome. The foam I actually had to really search for. This is a green couch cushion foam that's used for upholstery. It's about 3 inches thick is what it is. 2 of these blocks were $30 at Walmart. So that's how I made those. And not too terrible. Now, I'm gonna give you a guess about what these are.
Your boobs.
Exactly. Exactly. So this was actually a nude bra I bought at Goodwill for $1, and it served me well over the past year right here. These are my boobs. I have, fortunately, very generously been given by God some man boobs right here, that cis kind of in that, but I want kind of that Dolly Parton big boobs, kind of bimbo, I guess you could say, silhouette. So these are these huge pieces right here. So this is essentially just polyfill, which they use to stuff teddy bears and things of that nature in, and then wrapped in Dollar Tree pantyhose. So yeah.
Heck yeah.
Those are my boobs. This little red thing right here is my makeup kit. So if you want to go and get a close up of this inside, It's actually fairly organized for me, believe it or not. So
I love the fan.
brushes, I have fans, and I have a couple of fans I have that they actually sell at Dollar Tree. I have brushes galore. I have foundations and palettes and eyeshadows and everything else in here. I go into the actual costume. So my costumes usually are very theatrical, very campy. I love comedy in my drag. I love being silly and ridiculous and having an audience gasping for air because of how funny I am and also just laughing their heads off. My most recent number, of course, was doing rap, and I did Two Moms Working Hard by Miranda Lambert. I did it as a little 50s housewife where her husband had cheated on her. So this is the dress that I wore for that number right here. Cute little A-line blue thing with a black collar on it, matched the shoes, and wore that jewelry with it. This was $40 on Amazon. That's where it was. And Prime 2-day shipping is a savior. This is the apron I wore with it, and I've given that additional housewife flair. I want to say this was $20 on Amazon. Ordered it in the same batch. Just went ahead and got it all together. So, use. Now it goes on to the two props. I had two different props whenever I did this number. One was a fake pie that I had that as soon as I got on stage, I threw into the audience, and the audience loved it. So this is the fake pie. It looks very real, in fact. So, but it is styrofoam. It is fake. This was $30 on Amazon. And after that, if I can get this damn thing closed, I also had these, which is not real, as you can tell. Bends, everything else. This is a plastic knife prop. I got word. In total, you're looking at $491 for one night out in drag. And I'm going to tell you this. That is the financial cost. That is getting started and being noticed and getting booked consistently. This is kind of what you need. Because there are some club promoters, especially people who book Queens to perform, who are very particular about how they want you to be. I will say this, however, this is my drag. This is not meant to be representative of every queen. This is just representative of what I am for a typical night. I know queens who have never worn pads a day in their life, who have never cinched, and yet still make probably well over $100 in tips every night, simply because of how talented they are and how they go about their drag. So, you do your drag how you want to do your drag. I am very feminine in my drag. I am very high camp, which is the reason for all of this. If you decide you don't want to do that, perfectly fine. But this is kind of the basics of getting started, especially in the Lubbock drag scene. So that's it. That nature. This is exclusive because this gown has not been worn yet. It still has the tags on it, in fact. So this is a gown I actually bought at Ross. That is by Morgan & Co. is the name of the company. It is sequin eggplant all the way down. It is my size, fortunately, and it is fabulous. So this is something I would probably wear in order to do a ballad, in order to do something on stage. It's not pretty much my typical stuff, which is pretty campy. But if today I want to go ahead and just do Bound to You from the Burlesque soundtrack one night, is probably what I'm going to wear. And I will give you this tidbit. This gown was only $30. A place that is kind of on a verge of a breakthrough, but not quite there yet. We have the Club Lexer, yes, which is the only consistent drag venue in town. That's the only club in the entire city. And non-discrimination policies are not in place for any sort of business in Lubbock that's required by the city. We do not have any sort of protections, really, as LGBTQ people concerning laws or ordinances or anything else like that nature. So it's hard being a queer person, especially a drag queen in Lubbock, simply because I, take for example myself, I'll just use myself as an example. I usually drive myself to my venues. I have a little blue Mini Cooper that I pack up all this shit into, and I take myself to my gigs. However, every single time I leave the house, the thought that's in the back of my mind is if I get pulled over. Because me in a wig and a full face of makeup going to my gig does not match what my ID card says. I am not a transgender woman. I have never claimed to be a woman, will never claim to be a woman. So I'm a man who dresses in drag. However, there is still intense homophobia here in Lubbock. I work retail, and I have literally had a customer that I was dealing with who told me to my face as I was wearing a rainbow flag pin on my work uniform, because my company, fortunately, that I work for is very LGBTQ inclusive and is super accepting and does not ask questions. She looked me straight in the eye after seeing my rainbow flag pin and said, "I hate how queers are ruining this country." While wearing a MAGA hat, of course, but it was something of where I'm like, did you really just say that? Really? This is 2019. I know it's Lubbock. I know it's Texas. And I know we still don't have the most accepting state in the world. However, you do not have the right to tell me that in my place of work simply because your beliefs state that somehow I am wrong. Your belief is a belief. My existence is a reality. So, you can either decide to accept the fact that queer people exist, queer people breathe, we work, we live, and we contribute to society, or you can go ahead and find another country to move to, which at this point, I don't think anyone's going to take you. To be perfectly frank. So, there's that.